Welcome to Perfect Guardian, and I'll tell you about number one numerology, that is the primal force. Among the 9-digit numbers, the number one takes the special place. From a spiritual perspective, it's the number of creation, the primal force from which all other numbers spring forth. It is said that when you truly understand the place and function of this most primal of all numbers, you will know all there is to know. The enlightenment is yours. This statement, of course, does not apply to an understanding of the number one from a numerologist perspective alone, but perhaps that is a good place to start, as the personality of the number one aligns nicely with its more elevated spiritual symbolism. The number one is a doer, a powerful force that produces results and does not allow anything or anyone to limit its potential. The number one is aggressive and necessary energy for creating and producing. The number one is always the forefront, a spearpoint directing and leading others. The shape of the number one is just like a shape of all other symbols, reflects its meaning. It walks upright with pride and purpose, strong, determined, unwavering, and with a specific goal in mind. The one can turn dreams and ideas into reality. It pushes obstacles aside or simply drills right through them. The one grows, transforms, and improves in perpetuity, preciously the way Mother Nature does. After all, nature's primal force and most basic building block is the number one. Nature knows no mercy, and its cruelty can be heartbreaking. However, it knows balance and gives life indiscriminately and without judgment. Scientists sometimes compete with nature, genetically altering fruits or breeding bugs for a specific purpose. An understanding of nature teaches us that this is a never good idea and almost always produces unexpected black lashes. The number one has a similar built-in perfection and balance. You can force a change here or there, but negative repercussions are likely. The number one tends to have a simple, straightforward view of life and its many complexities. It trusts its own ability to separate right from wrong. It does waste time on abstract ideas or anything else that isn't lined with its pursuit of results. The number one is no preacher, no philosopher, no spiritual explorer, no dreamer, and certainly not an idealistic. It is a pragmatist, a ruthless conqueror, and a warrior extraordinary. It is individualistic and independent to a fault. It will attempt to force its values and opinions on you, but it won't accept or even listen to yours. The number one does not hesitate when it senses a need for confrontation. It is jealous and extremely stubborn, but also courageous and willing to try anything new if it sees promise, even at great danger. It is, if you haven't guessed, the most masculine of all numbers. There is a certain quality, a sense of honor and responsibility that demands our respect, and it has a sense of justice that cannot be denied. The number one cannot witness injustice without jumping in and setting things straight. Its purity of purpose is an admirable quality of the number one. It sees things for what they are, and hypocrisy doesn't stand a chance. Befriend a one and you have a friend for life. You can poke fun at a one and not have to worry about hurt feelings. The number one has a great capacity for humor, including the self-depreciating kind. If, however, you try to cater to number one to win its love or friendship, you lose its respect. Instead, stand up to a number one and you may lose the fight, but you will gain its admiration. If you are in trouble and need help, number one is who you want on your side. There is no more dedicated protector or brave partner. If you are in love, the number one is the most difficult of all lovers. Demanding, jealous, confrontational and impatient. If you find yourself in the service of number one, you will be pushed to the limit, abused at all hours, and incapable of living up to its expectations. But you will also, without a doubt, become the best you could ever be. If the number one is the enemy, you will be crushed without mercy. If you yourself are a number one, your happiness and satisfaction will come from a work more than from any other source. And if it was possible for a person to be fully and truly a number one and only a number one, that individual would be successful and intimidating as well as extremely unpleasant and dangerous. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel Perfect Guardian and give your comment.